God! Last night I talked about the war on land, on fuel, all of it. Food. What is happening with our food is outrageous. And I'm going to give you some things here that you will not believe. In about 8 minutes, you will say, no way that's true. You're going to have to look it up, and I'll give you the address and everything else. Okay. Right now, 40% of farmland in America, 40, is owned by Americans over 65. Our farmers are dying out. So farmland, 40% of it, is going to go up for sale soon. Okay? And the way everything is structured, the farmers' families usually can't afford to keep the farm when mom and dad die. So that means 370 million acres are going to come up of farmland, good American farmland, gonna come up for sale soon. Now, the prices of farmland is skyrocketing for some reason. I mean, who wants farmland? You know, the best and fastest way to become a millionaire as a farmer is start with 2 million. Okay? You're guaranteed to have $1 million probably by the end of the year. It's a losing prospect. It is hard work, and you need good communities around you. So why is farmland prices going up? Well, a couple of reasons. COVID, people are like, yeah, I just want to be, someplace other than California. And so then they buy, we'll raise chickens, and we'll have eggs, and maybe we'll have a goat. And first winter and the first harvest, they're like, and they run back someplace in the city. A few months ago, a farm in Iowa sold for $25,000 per acre. To say that land prices are skyrocketing is an understatement. So who is buying all of the farmland? Well, BlackRock buying up record-shattering amounts of homes. For farms, it's people like Bill Gates. Now, I don't know about you, but Bill Gates buying up 300,000 acres spread out. Remember, 40% of the farmlands, 40% owned by 65 and up, 40%. How many acres did I say that was? 370 million. 40%, 370. How many acres does Bill Gates have now? He's approaching 300 million acres. So that's kind of disturbing. One guy owning another 40% of our farmland, if these numbers are right, that's terrifying, especially a guy who believes in, you know what, we shouldn't have cattle, we shouldn't have milk, and, I can genetically fix these animals because I am God.
And also, more disturbingly, this is the guy who approved Clippy.
Yes.
The little paperclip that would give you recommendations on what to do in Microsoft Office.
So I totally support Bill Gates in his little farmer expedition. He's going to be a good farmer. Anyway.
You think he's done a lot of farming? You think Bill has been out in the fields?
Oh, sure. Yeah, he knows what he's
with the hoe?
37.6 million acres of U.S. farm and ranch land now held under foreign ownership. 37.6 million acres. They've doubled down recently, buying land in Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado. 40% growth rate in just 2020. One Chinese government-linked group bought farmland near Grand Forks Air Force Base in North Dakota. No problem there. No problem. Not really, seriously. Former member of the Chinese Communist Red Army bought land near Laughlin Air Force Base here in Texas. The windmill project that he's doing gives the Chinese yet another dangerous location next to a sensitive military base. Buyers from communist China bought 6.1 billion acres of farmland here in the U.S. By far, that's more than any other foreign buyer. But it's just the Chinese, communist government that's doing it. What could possibly go wrong? By the way, an update. I said this last night. Ron DeSantis is the only guy that would do this. He needs to ban China from buying farmland. And guess what he did yesterday? Yeah, he's banning China from buying farmland. Where are you, Texas? Where are you? Okay, so you're seeing that our farmland is being put into the hands of either our enemies, like Bill Gates, or the Chinese. So what are you going to do? Bill Gates, 300 million acres.
300,000, isn't it? 300,000 acres? You said 300 million.
300 million. Well. Is it 300,000? Let me look at it.
300,000 acres, I think it is.
300,000? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Whew, it's a lot acres.
Better. Still, yes, it's a lot of acres. But much better than 300 million. Okay, 300,000 acres. So he's got all this farmland. You know where he's going. He is fully with the World Economic Forum, okay? So the World Economic Forum, what do they want to do? Well, they want to control the land. They want to control the food. They want to control the energy. They want to control the money. Well, if you do all of those things, you control you. Now, I'm going to take you to something, to the World Economic Forum, their own website. They have a section on smart cities. Oh, this is a really smart city. Like Chicago, very smart. So the smart cities are the way to get all of our problems under control. Because their plan is to force everybody into cities and leave the land alone. Remember, they have to, by 2030, and Biden's already done this, he's going to preserve 30% of all land in America. No humans will be on it. By 2050, it's 50% of all land. So where do the people go? The people all have to go into cities, but they'll be smart cities. Now, I want you to go to the World Economic Forum's website, and I want you to look this up for yourself because you will not believe what I'm about to tell you. But it's there currently in black and white. So you decide who's the conspiracy theorist and who is actually lying to you. Now, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. You go to the World Economic Forum, you look up their smart cities, and you're going to see what is planned for you. Now, they have all kinds of partners all over the world. One of them is the Arab Group, ARUP, the Arab Group. They have their own section on the WEF website, okay? They're a progressive group that got together in Britain right after World War II, and they were like, hey, we can do a lot of things. These Fabian socialists, they got a lot of great ideas. Why don't we start building things and building a community of tomorrow? So, very progressive-minded, and they want to be a source and a force for peace and social betterment, which I look for in a construction company, don't you? I'm like, yeah, but how? How is it with earthquakes and stuff? Social betterment. Did we say social betterment? Okay, good.
Same reason I go to NASA.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you go to NASA to learn about the Muslim community.
And how much they know about math.
Right. Okay, so from the World Economic Forum, let's put page 40 up. There it is. Now I love this. Now, this is a whole section on, look, we've got some pretty big goals to hit, and we got to hit them. So how do we build these smart cities, and what do we need people to do? by 2030. Now, they have some pretty aggressive goals, and some of them are up there. And they look, I mean, if you're watching Blaze TV, you'll see them up from the website itself. But let me give it to you just in case you're not watching, because, gosh darn it, these stats are a little sticky. So food. They need to reduce the emissions of food by 2030. So their target by 2030 is you will only have 16 kilograms of meat per year. Now, their aggressive target for 2030 is that you have 0 kilograms of meat. I'm telling you, what they're doing to the farmers and the ranchers, what the 4 big food processors are doing, they're driving them out of business, so you can't have any local ranchers growing meat because they're getting rid of meat. Listen to Klaus Schwab, who says by 2030, meat will be for the rich and very wealthy for special occasions only. You with that? Again, on their own website, 16 kilograms, that's all you can have of meat. Right now, the dairy consumption, milk or derivative equivalent, so cheeses and everything else, they're hoping that you will only have 90 kilograms of that, but their aggressive, ambitious target for 2030 is 0. Now remember, they need you to live like we lived in the pandemic, except without the nice stuff that you might have had, like cheese and milk and meat in the pandemic. You'll be required to only have 2,500 calories a day. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think I could live on 2,500 calories a day. I really don't like the fact, maybe it's because I've studied so much about the Holocaust, and, when governments and institutions start regulating calories, makes me think of the Holocaust a little bit, but maybe that's just me. Now, when it comes to clothing is a problem. Okay, we have too many clothes and I've watched television. I don't think we have enough clothes. Quite frankly, Lizzo comes to mind. So their progressive target for 2030 is that people will only be allowed to have 8 new clothing items per person per year. But they really are shooting for 3. So, comrade, you could have a new shirt, a new pair of pants, and maybe some socks. Merry Christmas. We'll begin to go, oh, thank God, socks for Christmas, thank you. No big deal there. On private transportation, their goal is, now, I don't even know the number, they don't include this in here, how many vehicles per 1,000 people? What do you think per 1,000 people? How many vehicles do we currently have, do you think? 500?
Yeah, some of them are kids, but I don't know if you're thinking it's got to be at least 500.
At least 500. They want to reduce that by 2030 to 190 cars per 1,000 people. And their ambitious target is 0 cars per 1,000 people. Oh, by the way, and your 20-year car, the car that should last you about 20 years, they want it to last now 50 years. So we'll all be driving. Oh my gosh, this is starting to sound like Cuba, where the sun is out every day and you can go to the beach whenever you want and try to fashion a craft out of logs and a sail.
So I thought I needed. So I thought. So I thought. So I thought I needed. Thought I needed.
Do you know what's interesting about all these people? None of them are volunteering to off themselves. Bill Gates is an old guy. It's the late 60s, I think. Has he offed himself? I don't think so. He's still flying around in a private jet telling us all how we need to reduce our carbon footprint. The carbon they want to reduce is you. You're the carbon they want to reduce.